Okay, so we're going to solve this system of two equations by graphing. And we begin with one of the equations. We can start with either one, but it makes sense to start with the top one. And what we need to do first is to get the equation into slope-intercept form. Okay, so we want this in slope-intercept form, which means get y on its own. And if you want to get y on its own, hopefully it's clear to you now that x is on the wrong side because you want y to be on its own. So we'll move the x across, and that will leave it with y equals -2, and move the x across, it becomes minus x. Okay, now that is in slope-intercept form. Okay, so that's the first thing that we wanted to do. Done. Now, let's look at this, the different parts of this. The number that's in front of x, okay, the number that's in front of x here is -1. That's the slope. Okay, there's an invisible one there, so the slope here is -1, which is -1 over 1. And if we think about that as rise over run, then this means that we're going to, because it's negative, the slope is negative, come down 1, and also move right 1. Okay, so it's rise on top and run on the bottom. So on the top, it's telling us to move down because it's minus. On the bottom, it's telling us to move to the right. The question is, where do you start from? And of course, you start from this other number. This is going to be your y-intercept. Okay, so this is going to be your y-intercept. So that's going to be equal to -2. Okay, so we're going to mark that on the y-axis. Now, strictly speaking, the y-intercept is actually 0, -2. Okay, but for our purposes, we can think of it as being -2. So we're going to begin here. Okay, so we begin by marking 0, -2 on the y-axis. And if I can just get rid of that for a moment. There's where we are, 0, -2. And then the instruction says to come down 1. So come down 1 space from there and move to the right 1. So there. And we're going to draw our line through there. Okay, so we're going to draw a line through those 2 points. And we'll try and get it as accurate as we can. Okay, and we'll stretch it on out in this direction if we can. Okay, so there's that line. Now, that was the first equation, and we're going to go now and see what happens if we draw in the second equation as well. So if we take the second equation, it's 2x minus 3y is equal to -9. We want the y on its own, so that means the 2x has to move across. And if we move the 2x across, look what we're left with. We're left with -3y is equal to -9. And then we pull the 2x over as well, so that becomes -2x. If we want y on its own, we're going to have to divide by -3. So we have -3y divided by -3 is equal to -9 divided by -3. -2x divided by -3. Okay, then -3's will cancel, so you have y is equal to -9 divided by -3. A minus divided by a minus is a plus, 9 divided by 3 is 3, and -2x over -3. A minus divided by a minus is going to be a plus again, and it's going to be 2x over 3, or you can write it as 2/3 of x. Okay, so once again, the bit that goes with the x, that's your slope. So your slope is 2/3, and the number on its own is part of the y-intercept. So the y-intercept, which is 3, or rather 0, 3, we'll mark that here. 0, 3 is right here. And then the slope. The number on top is the rise, so move up 2, and move right 3. Okay, so we're going to start with the y-intercept, and we're going to go up 2, and then we're going to go 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. And just at that point there. Okay, so now we'll draw a line through those. And again, do it as accurately as you can. And that's probably as good as I can do it. Okay. Now, the thing that remains, the only thing that remains, is to find out where those two lines meet. Okay, and we can see here quite clearly, I think, that those two lines meet, and we'll blow it up, if we can blow it up, pull it over this way, and we can see that those two lines meet. They're slightly off, but almost exactly at the point -3, 1. Okay, this is the point of intersection. Okay, this is the point of intersection right here, and the coordinates are -3, 1. So the first coordinate is your x, and let's bring it back down in here again. Okay, so your first coordinate was your x, so your x is equal to -3, and your y is equal to 1. Okay, and that's your solution. Now you can check those if you like by putting both those numbers, -3 and 1, in for x and y in both equations, and you'll find out that they happen to be true. So that's how you do it. Write both equations in slope-intercept form, and then take one equation at a time, mark its y-intercept on the graph, and then figure out, using the slope, where the next point should be. Repeat that with the other line, and where they meet, in other words, where they intersect, the point of intersection, that's going to give you your answer. Okay.